A lot of the time, once a person passes, he, she, or they begin to interact with the physical world by sending signs from the spiritual world. Some people are more attuned to the communication beyond the veil than others. However, if you're open to the communication, anyone can receive signs from the other side. Signs come in all forms. Some signs from the other side are the following: money, feathers, animals, items that were special to them, like books, for instance, or even clothing, hearings or sightings of their name when you knew them, angel numbers like 111, 333, 444, 888, and so on, music, orbs and photos, familiar scents that begin to pop up, weather patterns like a rainbow, and so on. Now that you've created your memory box and shrine, you should have access to these signs. And what I want to do next is share a couple of stories from signs of my loved ones on the other side. And they primarily come from the people that gave so much inspiration to this course, my grandparents. And I've talked about some of them like Joe, Jack, Beverly, but now I want to share with you a story that deals with Virginia, my paternal grandmother. The dress that I'm wearing now came to me through a vintage shop here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I went to this shop with a friend who actually was born around the same time of my grandmother. We tried on dresses, and there was nothing that I could find in the shop until I saw this dress on the hanger. When I looked at it, it didn't look like it would fit me, but when I went into the dressing room, it fit like a glove. And my paternal grandmother, Virginia, absolutely loved clothes. When I put on the dress, I immediately felt her presence. I later then was greeted with the owner of the store who wanted to perform Reiki on me. That was the first time I ever experienced Reiki. I lost all my grandparents before the age of 18. It was when I was in my 20s that I really wished that they were still alive. From 20 to 30, I started to experience moments where I felt like each of them were trying to communicate to me. But it was my maternal grandmother that I struggled to feel the most. I told my mom about this experience, and on my 27th birthday, my mom sent me a picture of her in the mail. Something my grandmother did to my mother before she became ill and died. After putting up the picture of Beverly, I began to find pennies everywhere, which was a thing between the two of us. My grandmother gifted me a small coin purse, which I would keep pennies in. For 2 months, I began finding pennies during times of despair. I would find them during challenging times at work. I would find them when I was struggling to make a decision. I would find them when I felt scared. I would find them when I needed reassurance. Some were face up and others were face down. At first, it startled me, but then it grew comforting. I later found out that my grandmother was born on the same day as my sister and died on my birthday. In addition to my birthday, Beverly also died on a full moon. My mother explained to me that when Beverly did die, there was a feeling of wholeness that surrounded the room, and that it symbolized that Beverly had lived a full life. My mom also explained to me that she believed that Beverly waited to die and that she kind of held on for a long time. And I feel like after knowing many years later after she passed away that she died on my birthday and that my mother, kept it to herself. So at the age of 12, I wouldn't feel so upset on my birthday. I do really believe that she wanted to end her life on the day of her second granddaughter, which was me. She started into this world on the same day as my sister and then left this world on my birthday. And then to me, that's a full life as well. I also believe in this theory just because My grandfather on my maternal side, Grandpa Jack, also kind of waited around until he died and until he saw his daughter and my father, so his son-in-law, and then my little brother. He passed away about a day later, but it wasn't until my mother showed up with my little brother that I felt like my Grandpa Jack felt like he could finally leave. All in all, I've had many instances where I've felt my grandparents, the inspiration behind this course. With Beverly, it was the pennies. With Jack, it was the books. With Virginia, it was the clothing. And with Joe, it was the feelings and the past life progressions. But all of these instances are very personal, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because I think it's important for you to think back and reflect on the signs that you've been receiving. However, if you aren't convinced by the pennies from heaven, then I'll share one final story with the passing of my nephew Fitz. Now, you might know this story and it might sound repetitive, but I do believe that it is such a beautiful sign from Fitz. I unfortunately was not present during his birth or death. His original due date was on July 4th, 2019, which is actually a very special day for my family and I. July 4th is the birthday to both of our black labs, Cash and Jack, and Fitz was going to share a due date with both of them. However, Fitz was born early on June 7th, 2019 at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. I was in New York City, where I currently reside, and he was born in our hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. About an hour after he was born, I found out that he had his last breath. The moment I found out he passed away, time stopped. I was home alone in my East Village apartment in Manhattan. It was 7:15 in New York City, 6:15 at home. I decided to go up on my rooftop and have a moment to get some fresh air. Once I made it outside, the sky was an array of blue, pink, yellow, and orange. It was a beautiful sight, and there was a beautiful crescent moon surrounded by this awe-inspiring sunset. It was truly magical. And to this day, I haven't seen a more vibrant sky ever. To me, that was a sign that Fitz had passed peacefully and that he was going to be okay on the other side with my grandparents and Cash and Cabo. In general, this course is in honor of Fitz and an inspiration of my grandparents, but it is also so relevant to you and your family and the loved ones that have passed. So I really hope that now that I've shared these personal stories, you can also learn more about signs from the other side. Now, for this bonus module, there are practices. What I would like you to do is take note of what you find once you put pictures of your loved ones or create your memory box or shrine. Write down any sign you experience from now on and keep track of the signs. And I guarantee you, you will start to feel connected with the people that have passed onto the other side. A bonus practice that I think is so beautiful, and it was given to me by my Akashic Records reader, is to ask your loved ones that are still alive right now to tell you the signs that they will give you when they hit life on the other side.